Chapter 1 The New Scriptures, as written by Sananda Jesus, by Kathryn E. on August 5th, 2013. As many of you know, we are preparing to release the prosperity funds for the good of all humankind any day now, to free all from the grip of economic slavery. There are just a few details having to do with the Vatican bankers which need to be ironed out. They are being convinced to give up their hold on the funds to allow them to be distributed. The Pope is presenting them with another offer they can't refuse. As you know, he has already issued a decree allowing for their arrests, which was given a start date of September 1st, 2013. That was done deliberately, to give them a few weeks to change their minds voluntarily. It appears that some are beginning to weaken their grip. Just as anyone else on planet Earth is struggling with the old rules and standards, the Vatican officials have been steeped in centuries of secrecy and absolute financial power over the entire world. Most people have no idea of the enormous wealth and the civil edicts, which are still in place, which give the church ownership of all the lands which have ever been held by the Crown of England, and all the lands which were allied under the Axis powers, and all the countries of South America which have adopted the beliefs of the Catholic Church. This includes nearly all Europe and the Western Hemisphere. So, as you may have suspected, the Catholic Church is the most powerful consolidated political power on the planet. By loosening their hold on the bank funds, the protectors of the treasury are well aware that this would be the end of their personal power, and the end of the myth that Catholic Church as an institution was ever a well-intended religious order. Of course, there have been many devout and well-meaning priests, bishops, and lay worshippers, including the current Pope Francis I. But the institution in Rome has always been interested primarily in political and economic power to control the world. This is coming to an end. Many who are not religious in their current lives are unaware of the worldwide implications of how the dissolution of the Catholic Church will affect the lives of everyone on the planet. This is the ultimate inevitability, the complete dismantling of the Church in all its glory, pomp, and wealth. It will also mean the end of the psychological and religious stranglehold it has had on its people. I can hardly emphasize enough the enormous effect this will have on freeing the minds and hearts of the people. It may seem strange to some of you that it is I, the one who came to earth as Jesus, who am at the forefront of this apparent attack on the religion that was ostensibly established in my name. I assure you that I will not and never have supported the establishment of any large organized which call itself Christian. I was opposed to the building of great temples. This was an important part of my teachings. Above all, I would never have supported teachings which were designed to enslave the thinking and behavior of any of my students. I, Jesus, Yeshua ben Joseph, was raised a Jew. I practiced the principles and ethics I learned at my parents' knees, and never left behind the essence of those teachings, which encouraged a strongly ethical and devout way of life. I was interested in explaining the limits of Judaism to create a practice based in the simple understanding that love, the love of the Creator and of one's fellow creatures, was the only principle needed to live a good life. I thought that turning away from dogma and rote practice of any rules is the first step of turning towards God. You see, in terms of the practice of the day when I lived, I was a radical, libertarian, free-thinking agitator. This is the reason why both the powerful hierarchy of the Jewish community and the Romans wanted me eliminated. Any and all other fundamentalist sects operating in the areas where I was teaching would have been opposed to what I thought as well. For I stood for the freedom of each individual to freely communicate with God, unhampered by any dogmatic human opinions or prejudicial ideas. I thought that there was no need for priest intermediaries. All human beings are possessed with the innate ability to communicate telepathically with their God, their angels, and even with their ancestors. Does this sound to you like some airy-fairy New Age extremism to you? Well, the New Agers have promoted their own misunderstandings as well. Namely, that spirituality is supposed to make you feel good as an end of itself. I will talk more about that later. Let us concentrate here on the first lesson I will send to you through Kathryn, who has collaborated with me in the past to write the chapter in her book called The Christ You Never Knew. I am asking her now to begin presenting my teachings to you directly, in unedited, unadulterated form, unlike the documents you have had available until now. We are less limited now by the language, since more people speak English than spoke my Aramaic language 2,000 years ago. And we will have more control over the translations that I did then. I ask that these lessons be distributed unedited, without commentary, in their entirety. Any translations must be specifically authorized by me. There will be 12 initial chapters, which will work together as one book of teachings. As long as those standards are met, we offer them freely to the world. We also will welcome questions from readers through Kathryn and Anna Hart. I will answer them willingly after the first 6 of these messages have been truly understood. This is a new phenomenon, is it not? Your ability to read the scriptures as they are being written in my own words. I will be here soon to affirm these words in person, but it has been decided in our council that some preparation would be helpful for all of you. Kathryn, Lady Portia, has given her permission to be the scribe who will present these teachings to the world. Because of our long relationship going back to the creation of this galaxy, because of her deep intuitive understanding of the concepts I will present here, and her ability to take down the words and meaning with complete accuracy. I have chosen carefully, and she has been tested to the limits of her endurance. She has proven herself steadfast in the principles of oneness I teach, regardless of the challenges we have presented to her. I now feel completely comfortable in asking her to do this important work for us in this historic time, as she has agreed to take on the responsibility. Now that our introduction is complete, let us begin with the first and most important lesson I present in these pages. God is love. I, Sananda, the representation of God, am love. I speak these words with Prime Creator, which Prime Creator has breathed into my mouth, as I will do faithfully as long as my life as a soul goes on eternally. No other version of my words but this one are the words of the Father directly through me. Many of the old teachings have been reinterpreted or purposely distorted to serve the wishes of those in power. In order to remain in power, we must begin anew. If you wish to quote me, please use these teachings rather than old texts. I will speak only in words of encouragement which will serve to enlighten and uplift humankind, to rise above the fear, divisiveness, and hatred which has been the way of life on planet Earth for millennia. I do not come to establish a new religion by any name. I wish to teach the true way. Communication with God and all conscious beings is love. In love, compassion, harmony, forgiveness, and joy. Any teaching which engender feelings of fear, guilt, separateness from others, superiority over any other living being, or any rift between an individual and their true being is not the Word of God and will not be found in my words. I am one with God, as you are. We are one. This is the lesson I bring to you in joy and in unending love. You are God as I am. We cannot be separated because we are not separate. No physical distance, no idea or belief can keep us apart. We are destined to live in harmony and peace, in absolute love, so be it. I am Sananda and I approve this message with joy and hope in my heart.